In today's video I'm doing a Perrie Edwards inspired makeup tutorial. I found the picture on Adam Burrell's Instagram, who is Perrie's makeup artist. He does people like Little Mix, he's done Fergie, Jennifer Hudson, The Saturdays, he's done loads of celebs. So go and have a look at his Instagram. But yeah, it's very smoky and bronzy, as you can see, with a nude lip. I've never really wore black on my eyes before, so it's very my comfort zone, but I really love how it turned out. So if you want to see how I recreated this makeup look, then please keep watching. To begin this look, I start by priming my face with the Elemis Pro Radiance Illuminating Balm. And then I spritz my face with the MAC Fix Plus. For foundation, I'm using MAC Studio Fix in the shade NW20. This is quite a matte foundation, and I'm just applying that with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. So while I was recording this, I had Hairspray live on in the background. So if I'm dancing about, that's why. The songs are just so catchy. So after I apply my foundation, I'm just spritzing the MAC Fix Plus onto my beauty blender and just blending everything in. Then to conceal, I'm using the Maybelline Anti-Age Erase Concealer, and I'm just applying that to the places I want to highlight. Then again, I'm just blending that in with my beauty blender. Then to prime my eyes, I'm just going to use that same concealer. To cream contour, I'm going to use the NYX Wonder Stick. It has two sides to it, so there's a highlight side and then a contour side, which obviously I'm using the contour. And I'm just applying that everywhere that I'd normally apply my bronzer and my contour. Then I'm using the Primark, I don't know what it's called, it looks like a toothbrush, but it's just a blending brush. I actually really like this. I was a little bit apprehensive, I didn't know whether it would be any good, but considering it's Primark, it's definitely very good for blending. Then to set any parts of my face that get a little bit more oily through the day, I'm using the Real Techniques setting brush with the Mercier translucent powder. And technically, under my eyes, I'm baking just for a couple of minutes, just to make sure that my concealer doesn't crease throughout the day. And then to set everywhere else, I'm going to use the Zoeva 106 powder brush. For my eyebrows, I'm using an angled brush with the Anastasia Beverly Hills dipbrow in the shade taupe. For bronzer, I'm using the Peaches and Creams Light to Medium Bronzing Powder and the Zoeva 102 Silk Finish Brush, and I'm just applying that everywhere that I cream contoured and anywhere that I want to bronze my face a little bit. Then with the same brush, I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of a cooler tone bronzer just to contour a little bit further. As on the picture, Perrie has got quite defined cheekbones. Moving on to eyes, I'm using that same bronzer with the Zoeva 227 Definer brush, and I'm using this as a transition shade. Then I'm just going to blend that under my eyes. I then move on to the Zoeva 231 Petite Crease brush, and I use the Makeup Geek Frappe colour. And I'm just using that also in my crease, but just a little bit lower down than we use the transition shade. And I'll just blend that in. I then go back to the 227 brush just to make sure everything's nice and blended. And throughout this eye look, I do keep swapping from the smaller blending brush to the larger blending brush. Then with the 231 brush, I'm just going to apply the shade Frappe under my eyes. I then go back to the 227 brush just to blend under my eyes a little further. And then I'll use Makeup Geek's Cocoa Bear and I apply that with the smaller brush of the two, which again is a 231, and I apply that just again slightly lower than we applied the frappe. Again, going back in with the 227, blending a little bit further. Then to apply Cocoa Bear on the lower lash line, I use the Real Techniques shader brush. And then we're blending again with the 227. This is just a Primark flat shader brush. I'm going to spritz that with the MAC Fix Plus as we're going to apply a MAC pigment. And this pigment is from the 2015 Christmas collection, and it's called Blonde's Gold. I think you can still purchase this as a normal pigment. And then I'm just going to apply that all over my lid. I then use the Zoeva 317 winged liner brush to apply Corrupt by Makeup Geek, which is just a matte black shadow, and I'm using this just to line my upper lash line. Normally I would use a gel liner, but for this look I wanted it to be a little more smoky, so that's why we used an eyeshadow, because it creates obviously a more smoky effect. To line my waterline, I use the Rimmel Scandalised eyeliner, and then I also line my tight line. This is a waterproof eyeliner, so it should last all day. And then to create an even smokier look, I then go onto my lash line with the same Corrupt eyeshadow by Makeup Geek with my angled brush. And then I use my Zoeva 231 crease brush just to smoke that out even further. Then taking a clean Real Techniques blending brush, I'm just going to go over my crease just to make sure everything's blended perfect. I then curl my eyelashes. And then I went in with MAC Nylon into my tear duct and my brow bone, just to add a little bit of highlight. I then applied the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara to my lashes. In the picture on the description on Instagram, it did say that Perrie was wearing the Ardell Demi Wispies. So if you wanted to apply lashes, I would recommend going ahead and using those. For blush, I used the Makeup Revolution Baked Blush in the shade All I Think About Is You with the Zoeva 127 Sheer Cheek Brush. And to highlight, I used the Peaches and Creams Halo Highlighter with my Real Techniques highlight brush. Just where I'd normally highlight on my Cupid's bow, down the bridge of my nose, the tops of my cheekbones, and then I apply Vaseline onto my lips just to add a little bit of moisture back into them. Then I couldn't control my excitement because I was using my Mariah Carey matte collection, which I haven't yet used, and that's in the Lip Liner New Ombre. The packaging is absolutely beautiful. And I've been watching Mariah Carey actually on the telly. She's just bought a series out called Mariah's World and I'm addicted to it. Then I used her lipstick in the shade McKizzle. It's so glittery, the packaging, I just love it. And it's even got a little butterfly engraved into the lipstick, which is definitely Mariah. I also thought this was the perfect shade because on the picture, Perrie's lips are very nude. And it was an excuse to use it. And using the Rimmel brow gel, I'm just going to set my brows into place. Perrie's brows are actually really quite thick on the picture. I just followed my own natural eyebrow shape. And then I set my face with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, just so everything stays in place. And this is the final look. So this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed watching. If any of you decide to recreate the look for yourself, please take a picture and tag me on Instagram. I'll link my Instagram below. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and I'll see you again soon. Bye!